even participate.
He's just in tears in the huddle. I didn't know what to do.
Teachers need tons of help.
Kids Mental Health Foundation offers educational materials to help guide conversations with our students.
It's so important that we are constantly educating ourselves.
It's the same as the CPR class to me. We're trying to save a life here.
The Kids Mental Health Foundation has free tools and information developed by experts because kids' mental health starts with all of us. Scan the QR code or check out kidsmentalhealthfoundation.org to get started.
Join the movement. Listen to the Tori Lowe Show on 101.7 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, the locally owned Good Karma brand station.
It's time! It's time! It's beta time!
You are watching a master at work.
Truth Nation, get ready for the greatest 60 minutes in radio, giving you his authentic and bold opinions, bringing you all the information, entertainment, and conversations you gotta hear. From local issues to trending topics and headline news, it is time for Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is your award-winning host, Kyle Wallace.
Truth to Power here on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. And yes, I am back here on Truth to Power, and we're coming to you live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue here in downtown Milwaukee. Remember, you can always call in, text in at 833-212-1017. And make sure y'all watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That is 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a share as well. So happy to be back, Truth Nation. It's been a while. Been a good while that since I've been gone. I'm so happy to be back here in the United States of America. I had quite the adventure. And boy, oh boy, brother leave for a week, and next thing you know, the world done changed. A comeback is fall. It was the summer when I left. Now it's fall. The leaves done changed. It looked like freedom of speech is under attack. Jimmy Kimmel got canceled. And then all of a sudden I find out Milwaukee taxes going up again. I'm telling you, brother leave for 7 days. 7 days, and the whole world changes. Whole world changes up on you. And if you're as happy I was gone, guess what? Well, you sad again because I'm back. Shout out to my producer, Rhea Riley, holding it down on the ones and the twos.
Welcome back, Kyle.
Thank you. And shout out to y'all, Truth Nation. Now, I was gone for a little bit. I took a little vacation. I took a little trip. I was in Lisbon, Portugal, aka Lisboa. And first and foremost, let me just say shout out to my fraternity brother, James Blacks. Some know him as Jay Blacks, and his wonderful wife Summer on their beautiful wedding in Portugal, Lisbon, Portugal. And for me, it was very refreshing, right? And I'm gonna talk about this a little more at some point. But it was extremely refreshing to travel to Europe, to a different country, and to not only travel to a different country, but to be able to see so many middle class and so many distinguished African Americans and black people gallivanting around Lisbon, Portugal, going to different clubs, going to different restaurants, moving around. 'Cause let me tell you, there are black people there. Most of them some mostly look like immigrants, but there's not groups of black people. What you looking at me for like that, Rhea? Are you on air, off air? You're in one ear. You gotta be on it. She said they're mostly Brazilian and Portuguese. Yes, but the black, yes. So there are black people who are there, but you don't see groups of black people as in groups of black tourists like us, like large groups. We're talking about 50 to 100 people that are going to different areas and different clubs, and also they're like, oh wow, who are these people? So it was just a beautiful thing to see so many people, going around and hanging out and being able to explore. And I just think that was special. And I'll talk about that at some point another day, is how beautiful and special that was to me to be able to go over to Lisbon for a wedding. That was a beautiful wedding. Beautiful first time in Portugal. It was my first time in Portugal, and let me tell you, it was quite the adventure. It was quite the adventure. So let me just tell y'all, yes, I went to Portugal and I had a very good time in Portugal. But getting to Portugal was quite the story. It was quite the story, because y'all know anything about me. If y'all know something about me, is your boy I enjoy personally. I enjoy finding me a good deal. That's one thing about me. I'm always looking for the best deal. I do Google flights and I track the flight and I see the price go up and down, up and down. Matter of fact, me and my mama got into it. And when I say got into it, we was like, Mama, you argue a little bit sometimes. I love my mama. We went to Africa, Nigeria for one of my god sister wedding, her goddaughter's wedding. And we were tracking the prices. And she was like, I'm sick of waiting. I want to book. I said, Mama, just wait. Just wait, Mama. Just wait. And guess what? She waited and it all worked out. So I try to get the best deal that we could possibly get. Because for me, if I save $100 on the trip per person, right, that's $200. But if I save that money, I can reinvest that into the trip. I can reinvest it in something else that I want. Like I had some great meals there because I was able to save money. And so for me, I'm always looking for a good deal because I can reinvest that money I saved in another great experience. So for me, I booked economy flying to Europe. Now, economy means the ticket was cheaper. And it means you lose some of the luxuries that I did not know I was going to lose. So this is what happened, y'all. So I booked the flight, and I remember when I booked the flight, my lady said, Kyle, do we have our seats together? And I say, baby, we'll figure that out. She said, well, you're not going to buy seats together? I said, baby, you know who you're talking to. It's me. It's me. Baby, when don't I take care of stuff? And she said, you're right. So we didn't book our seats in advance because I said, you know what? I know how this works. We check in. I can find the seat together, bada boom, bada bang. I'm not paying for that. Well, I checked in. I looked for seats. There was only middle seats available. I said, okay, all right. That's okay, because usually my trick is I get like an aisle seat, and then one of us have a middle seat, and then you talk to somebody and say, hey, you want to swap this middle seat for an aisle seat? You get stuff figured out. And so where things got a little tricky is when we checked in and I got to the counter and I asked the gentleman, I had to fly from Milwaukee to Newark. And I said, yep, looking to try to get my seat together. No seats, is full. I said, huh? No seats, is full. So I had to walk back to my lady and tell her, hey, baby, we're going to have to thug it out. We still young. We going to have to thug this out. No problem. You know what I'm saying? Your boy going to be in the middle seat. She going to be in the middle seat. I could thug out 7 hours. No problem. Come on now. I can sit on the plane in the middle for 7 hours. I mean, I thought I could until I got on the plane, Truth Nation. Now, I'm telling you, this is my experience in Lisbon, flying to Lisbon. And there's more to the story now. Because remember, I started off telling y'all that, I always like to save money. But now I'm sitting in the middle for a 7-hour flight. And I get to my seat, and there is a man on the aisle and a woman on the window, and I'm sitting in the middle. The man looked 90. He was probably 85 at least. She had to be in her 80s. So these people were old. And I sat down in between them, and I immediately realized that this was not going to be a good flight. It was going to be very interesting because when I asked to get by them, a young spring chicken or an old spring chicken, when you want to get by them, they get up. This brother could barely move. I said, oh, hell. So I had to scoot through, put my butt all in his face to get past, and I sat down, and so we chilling. And then within the first 30 to 45 minutes, Truth Nation, I noticed something. I noticed this gentleman was moving uncomfortably. Like he just kept moving. He was coughing. And the thing about me is when you cough around me or you move, you do certain stuff around me, my face tells it all. I'm like, what's going on? So he's sitting there and he's moving. He's very uncomfortable. For about the first 30 to 45 minutes, this man just won't stop moving. And then all of a sudden, he stops moving. I'm like, cool. That's all right. And then the problem is that for the next about 20 minutes, the brother didn't move. White man, he didn't move. He didn't move at all. So now I'm thinking in my head, oh, hell, this 85-year-old done died next to me. I'm saying he done died next to me. And the thing that really triggered me, Truth Nation, thinking that I'm sat next to somebody that died, is then all of a sudden it started to have a little stench. It started to smell like somebody soiled themselves. So now I'm sitting here between this old woman, this old man, and this is her husband. She sleep, and I think he dead. So I'm sitting here like, oh hell. So I'm looking and I'm smelling. Said, oh Lord, I can't deal with this smell. I'm gonna have to call for some help. And then I'm looking at this man's chest to make sure he ain't dead. And so I'm like, I said, I think this man dead. I literally thought, I think this man had died. Now, luckily for me, Truth Nation, he ended up waking up. He was fine, but he got up to go to the bathroom. So I was relieved because of the fact that he got up to go to the bathroom, and it didn't smell anymore, but I noticed something. You know what I noticed, Rhea? His seat. His seat was wet. His seat was wet, and I said, I think this man peed himself. Or something. So he left. He went to the bathroom, right? So I'm just thinking, all right, well, whatever. He gone. We gonna survive. He ain't dead. So then they come around with the meal food, with the food. I'm ready for dinner. I'm like, yep, ready for dinner, ready to eat. And so, they asked me what I want. I said, go ahead, give me the beef. I'll take that beef. The pot roast it was. I said, give me the pot roast and mash, thank you. And the lady woke up. She said, oh, food time. I'll have the beef. And then she says, oh, my husband, where did he go? And she asked the flight attendant, have you seen my husband? Now, me the whole time, I'm knowing your husband left about an hour ago. Well, probably at that point, probably 35 minutes ago. None of my business. She didn't ask me. She asked the flight attendant. So I don't want him to come back because I don't want him to come smelling when I'm eating because then that'd be a big problem. And so I'm sitting there. She's asking about her husband. They said, ma'am, we don't know. Okay. Oh, she said, okay. And she looks worried and puzzled. But again, not my business. She didn't ask me. So it's not my business to step in anybody else's business. So she looked puzzled and she asked, sir, have you seen my husband? I said, I think he went to the bathroom a while ago. She said, oh, okay. And so while he was gone, I ain't gonna lie, I'm thinking this man might be dead in the bathroom, but at that point, I'm thinking let's just figure it out once I get done eating, because if he ain't dead, I don't want nothing to happen. So eventually they check the bathroom. There he is. He's in the bathroom for legitimately an hour. He comes back to his seat and he looks at his wife. His wife says, where have you been? He said, honey, He just shook his head, And I already knew he pooped himself. She didn't know that. I knew it. And so he sat back down, and all of a sudden he was just coughing, and he got a bag. And on the airplanes, you get the bag you throw up in. He's hyperventilating in the bag. And I'm like, bro, this is entirely too much. I just want to eat my food. Truth Nation. That's what it is. I'm just trying to hang out and eat my food. So at this point, I'm thinking to myself, this man about to get me sick. Because he's sitting here coughing. She start offering her bag. I said, you can have my bag too. Don't throw up on me. Because I said, we still got 4.5 hours left. So I'm sitting there, I'm chilling. Eventually I'll fall asleep. So this is where I have a problem, Truth Nation. Trust me, this all has a moral to the story. So Truth Nation, all of a sudden I wake up in the middle of the night. Probably about an hour, 45 left on the flight. And I wake up and I don't feel right. I'm feeling a little lightheaded. I'm feeling a little dizzy, and I'm like, ooh, I need some water. So I, hit the button, had the flight attendant come. I said, can I get some water? They said, yes, sir. They bring me some water. I'm like, okay, I'm sipping it. And I'm like, ooh, I try to close my eyes, and my head is spinning like, ooh, I don't feel right. And I'm thinking to myself, I said, this damn man done got me sick. He done got me this airborne disease. And so now I'm thinking I'm getting sick. And so I tell the man, I said, sir, I got to get up. He says, huh? I said, sir, I need to get past you. He said, oh, okay. And so, okay. Rhea, if you ask somebody to move, how long you getting them to move?
Well, it's an old person, so I'm gonna give them a little extra time.
How much time you giving them to move? Now think about this.
At least 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Take your time.
5 minutes. They're
dying. Old. They're old.
So I give them 20 seconds. I said, sir, move. I stepped over him because I had to go. My head was hurting. I didn't know what was happening. Rhea, I walked to the back, and I swear to y'all this. I get to the back. I look at the flight attendant. I said, I need some. I passed the hell out. Yep, I fainted. I fainted on the plane. Now, this is not my first time fainting on a plane. I did it before. I fainted on the plane. And so when I fainted on the plane, I know what to do. They said, sir, bing. Everybody, please stay in their seats. We have a medical emergency. Please, everybody stay. So I'm like, okay. I'm good. We not turning this plane around. We over the Atlantic Ocean. I'm not gonna die here. So I opened up my eyes because when I faint, I knew I was fainting. I only fainted twice in my life, both on the plane. And so I look at the flight. I said, sir, we good. I need some juice. He tried to give me apple juice. I said, no, orange juice. Give me orange juice. So he gives me the orange juice. I start sipping, and I'm coming back to life. And so I'm feeling better. And so the reason why I fainted, Truth Nation, is because of my blood sugar got low. I didn't want to eat too much before I got on the plane because of the fact that airport food is expensive. I'm cheap. And then on top of that, my tummy issues. I can't poop on a plane, so I got tummy issues. And so I passed out, and I'm good. I'm sitting in the seat. I'm like, oh, my gosh. I get back to the seat. The old man still stank. His wife is confused, and it's just a mess. My whole row is a mess. I got the pooper wetter right here. You got the black dude done fainting. You got the woman who was just sleeping, don't know what's happening. And so then, Truth Nation, as we get ready to end this flight, right, I don't survive, right? And remember, my baby girl, she's a couple seats up from me, and I'm just thinking to myself, damn. We get up to end this flight, and this was the sad part. The gentleman next to me, he gets up to go, because, when you get off a flight, what do? You go grab your bag. I don't know what the hell he was going to grab. He was too old to grab anything, 85 at least. This man gets up, and I see his ass. And we took off when it was nighttime. It was daylight. It was wet. I saw, brother, we've been on this flight for 7 hours, and your butt still look like that. I said, ooh, I see that. But again, what did I say? Not my business. Not my business. When I say this woman said, Harold. Remember, I'm in the middle. She over, Harold. And I'm back like I don't hear, because I know what she asked it. Your pants, Harold. He's, long story, honey. I'll just tell you later. She said, was it the medicine? I'm just thinking like, this is, I don't want to deal with this. I see the man wet himself or pooped himself. I knew about this the whole time, but she was just saying it, Harold, your pants. And I'm just sitting here like, and then after they talked, she said, so the Luther Vandross you watched, the movie was good? I like, yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. So the moral story is this, Truth Nation. Don't be cheap. Don't be cheap. Don't be like me, okay? I realize I'm not a thug. I am not. So me even thinking I'm about to thug it out, hell no. I'm in my mid-30s. There is no such thing as thugging it out in your mid-30s. I make good enough money where I can afford to buy seats. I can. I learned my lesson. So the moral of the story, Truth Nation, is don't thug it out on a 7-hour flight. Go ahead and pay for that upgraded seats, or you're going to end up like me, passing out on the plane. You're going to end up like me, where a man next to you is 85 years old pooping himself. You're going to end up like me, where you got to be in between somebody talking about, Harold, your pants, they're wet, Harold. Harold was embarrassed, talking about, it was the ginger ale. Brother, the ginger ale came to you about 3 hours ago. Your pants still shouldn't be wet 3 hours later. Talking about the ginger ale. He's talking about, I have an extra pair. These are my plane pants. I said, oh, my Lord. So the moral story is, make sure y'all go ahead. Next time you fly, if you like me, go ahead and pay that money. So on the way back, of course, because I told my lady what happened, and she said, can't be cheap, Kyle. So I paid $147 for us to be able to sit next to each other on the way home. I didn't pass out. Had a great experience. It was fantastic. So the moral of the story, Truth Nation, is this. Don't be like me. Listen, the cheap days, they're not over, but they're definitely suppressed. They're definitely suppressed. So that is one of my many Lisbon stories. Poor guy. I thought he was dead, so I'm glad he's alive. He shouldn't be flying for 7 hours in the state that he was in. He was hyperventilating. So that was my story, Truth Nation, about Lisbon. Again, good time, but flying there was quite a disaster. And for those who may be asking, yes, I will go to a doctor. My blood sugar got a little low. The orange juice was like a drug. I got that orange juice and I became Popeye. I got super strong again. But Truth Nation, on the other side, when we come back, make sure y'all watching streamers live on YouTube. Go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That's 1017 The Truth on YouTube. But when we come back, a new rule was just passed where people could be fined for simply being spectators. And what I want to know is, do you think the Common Council made the right decision? The leaders in Milwaukee finally decided to do something, and I don't know if it was the right decision. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. We're going to talk about it. The spectators on the streets, takeovers, getting tickets. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. We'll be back.
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I'm going to say something. I'm a conservative, as you know. I might not agree with you all the time, but even when I don't agree with you, you crack me up. And the other guy, he just pretend conservative all day. And you do make me think. But what you do better than anyone, you think on your feet.
Now that was a compliment coming from somebody who is as Trump-loving as he is, that can appreciate what we do here.
Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Tired of hearing no from other banks? No to a loan? No to a checking account? Just no? At Brewery Credit Union, we find ways to say yes. Yes to second chances. Yes to rebuilding credit. Yes to helping you save, borrow, and thrive. Work with our credit specialists and move your financial life forward. Brewery Credit Union, Milwaukee's best place to borrow and save. Visit brewerycu.com. That is brewerycu.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
School's back in session. Kids have their backpacks, school supplies, and new clothes. But are you ready as a parent? Families are the single most important factor in a child's academic success. This year, get to know your child's teachers. Stay engaged with their learning. Don't be shy about asking questions along the way. Because as a parent, you are your child's first and most important teacher. Learn more about how City Forward Collective is helping families, students, and schools thrive at cityforwardcollective.org.
Celebrate the reigning queens of disco with Disco Divas, running at the Bradley Symphony Center September 26th through the 28th. Principal Pops conductor Byron Stripling will lead the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra and an all-star trio of vocalists in all of your favorite hits from the disco era. Think Donna Summer, Patti LaBelle, Diana Ross, and Chaka Khan, as well as the Bee Gees, Earth, Wind & Fire, and even Michael Jackson. Those silky high strings and thumping bass lines will never sound better as you dance and sing along in your seat to tunes like I Will Survive, We Are Family, I'm Coming Out, and more. So what are you waiting for? Get those sequins out of storage and call the box office now at 414-291-7605 for Disco Divas or visit mso.org.
This is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Life's better with a home and auto policy from American Family Insurance. That's because they're always there to protect your dreams. From hosting a family reunion in your new home to taking a family road trip in your new minivan. So always remember, insure carefully and dream fearlessly with American Family Insurance. Visit amfam.com today to find an agent near you or to get a quote, poof, instantly online just like that. That's amfam.com, where you can bundle home and auto policies. Again, amfam.com, American Family Insurance. This is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am Kyle Wallace, and we're coming to you live from the American Family Insurance studio. I told y'all about my flight story and about the moral of the story is don't be cheap on these flights. And also, I don't know, at 85, maybe you shouldn't be flying that long. Poor Harold. Hope he survived the trip. Soiled himself. But there's things that are happening in the city of Milwaukee. And while I was gone, a lot of stuff happened. A lot of stuff happened while I was gone. And I'm definitely excited to get back to it, to talk about things that matter. And it looks like the leaders in Milwaukee have finally had enough of the street takeovers and finally did something about it, as yesterday the Common Council came down with, I would say, a heavy hand, a very heavy hand. And as you recall, the street takeovers originally took place on the south side of Milwaukee back in May, where Alderman and Common Council President Jose Perez made a much ado about what was happening with the street takeovers and how they were messing up traffic. And then we saw a couple happen in between there. But then it wasn't until Labor Day weekend, right, specifically in downtown Milwaukee and Labor Day weekend, where city officials finally decided that they needed to stop some of these large gatherings from happening and started to put their foot down. WISN 12 has the report on what is happening in the city of Milwaukee to stop these street takeovers from happening.
City leaders crack down on street takeovers, creating new fines for people partaking in the fireworks, donuts, and taking over intersections like you see here on your screen across Milwaukee. 12 News' James Stratton reports.
Crowds and cars taking over streets across Milwaukee this summer. That street takeover here at 6th and Clybourne, one of more than 200 police have responded to in Milwaukee this year. You can still see the tire tracks left behind.
15 ayes. The committee report is adopted.
Milwaukee's Common Council passing new penalties Tuesday for those participating or watching street takeovers. Spectators can get a $500 to $1,000 fine. Operators or organizers, $400 to $1,000. Passengers of vehicles, anywhere from $300 to $1,000 fine. Plus, the court can make someone do community service related to traffic safety. But Alderman Scott Spiker and Council President Jose Perez, both sponsors, say fines aren't enough.
As powerful as this legislation might be, it doesn't address the core problem, which is we aren't arresting people for spinning donuts in circles and almost running over people.
There's several ordinances on the books that get violated every street takeover. For me, it's a matter of enforcement.
Milwaukee police not responding to questions about enforcement Tuesday, instead saying they do have a task force in place to stop street takeovers and, quote, MPD appreciates the efforts of our elected officials to help provide additional tools. But council members point to Labor Day weekend when police say their takeover task force was not working. Officers instead assigned to patrol Water Street. Roughly 15 takeovers happened that weekend, and officers arrested and charged one man, issued 26 citations, and towed a handful of vehicles.
If you're going to arrest the behavior, you have to arrest the people.
James Stratton, WISN 12 News.
Yeah, so for me, I'm happy that this happened, right? Like, I'm all for this because I think it's important not to allow for this type of behavior. And again, when I talk about this behavior, I don't think this behavior is the end of the world. Sometimes I believe you have to implement things to deter people from doing stuff, but I'm not one who's going to get all up in arms and saying, oh, their behavior is so awful, it's so terrible, they're so reckless, they're endangering everybody. Because at the end of the day, these are just young folks doing stuff, right? And they shouldn't be doing it. That's why you put a measure like that in to deter it. Now, I disagree with Scott Spiker because trying to arrest everybody there, first and foremost, is impossible. You're not going to arrest everybody there. And secondly, I just don't, what does arresting do versus a ticket, right? Because I think for me, getting arrested, it keep me from doing it, but getting a $500 ticket would definitely keep me from doing it again as well. And so when you think about it, any person at the street takeover, based off what they said and based off what the Common Council passed, is subject to a fine between $300 and $1,000. And spectators just being there watching, right? Just watching, you get a fine between $500 to $1,000. Operators or organizers can get a fine between $400 to $1,000. And if you happen to be a passenger in the car, not even the person driving the car, a passenger in the car can also get $300 to $1,000 fine. And I think this is very punitive. I do. And what I don't want us to do is, again, I don't want us to believe because we give young folks, who are participating in this tickets doesn't mean that they're evil and bad people. That's the one thing I don't want people to go down that path, because as someone who once was a kid, who once had fun, who once did stupid stuff, and many of you who are listening here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth also were young, dumb, and did something that could be seen as reckless. These are just young folks having fun. And I feel like too often we let someone's actions allow us to label them or who they are versus just saying, this is just a moment in time, right? Moment in time, because there's much worse things that teenagers could be doing out here than watching and gathering and see somebody do donuts in the street. That's nothing new. Doing donuts in the street is nothing new. Again, it's stupid behavior because you're blocking street traffic and you could potentially endanger someone. But from somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't recall from these street takeovers them having a conversation about anyone getting killed, anyone getting shot. Like that I do not recall. Now, do not confuse what was happening on Water Street. Now, Water Street was people going to a street and gathering, right, outside of a club and bar district, right? That was a little bit different, where you saw the gunshots ring out from that, or at a festival, right? You saw stuff like that, but you did not see that when it comes to these gatherings. And again, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I've researched and I saw, these street takeovers haven't been things where we're talking about people getting shot and killed at, right? But 833-212-1017, I want to know, do y'all think the city got it right? Do you think the city got it right by putting down these heavy fines on individuals and people who are either spectators, those who organize the events, or even passengers in the vehicles that are doing these donuts, giving them those tickets? Will this actually deter people from doing anything, right? Will this actually stop? Will this get what they're asking for? Because, again, I stand behind it. I think the behavior is stupid and childish. But I'm not sure, for me, if it goes a step where I think it's something that we should be saying these kids are evil or these kids are bad or anything like that, or talking about arresting these kids. I think Scott Spiker took it a step too far, and I wonder if the complexion of those if they were doing it in a different area, with those communities be talking about arresting people the way that Scott Spiker was talking about arresting people. But I'll also ask the easy question. When I look at this and I think about this, how are they actually going to write these tickets? Like, I'm going to expose myself, is the fact that if you have a group of 100 people and you have, let's say, 10 police officers who come to an event, what are the odds that you think that you're going to be able to ticket all these different people? Like, what are we talking? Because even at those different events, when you disperse, they arrested one person, they wrote tickets, and they did it to who they could, right? They arrested who they probably should have, and they wrote citations to those that they could. Because let's be honest, I, for one, I've been to a house party before. Rhea, you ever been to a college house party before?
Yep.
Has that college house party ever been busted?
Yeah.
Okay, when it got busted, did you just stand there and say, oh, let me just wait for the police to get to me?
Oh, I'm smart. I was already home.
So you left before, or you left as soon as...
I peeped what I had to peep. I said, it's my time to go.
Exactly. Now, listen, at the UW Whitewater, some of y'all know about Tratt Street. I might or might not have been at a house party where the police came, and guess what? I believe in Darwinism, which is the survival of the fittest. And so when it came down to it, if there's 150 kids at a house party and there's only 4 officers responding, they can't catch us all. And so for me, when I think about this, is that we can implement something like this. And that was an exhilarating experience, by the way. Running from the police was exhilarating. I took off. That's when I was young. I was 19 years old. I was like, woo, ain't going to get me. I ain't going to get this drinking ticket. But my whole point is I don't see a lot of these tickets end up being written anyways because of the fact that it is so hard to bring a limited number of police officers into a gathering crowd and actually say, hey, nobody move. Don't disperse. We need to write you tickets. And I get it. Like, we want to put something out there to deter. We do want people to get tickets. But what I don't want to hear is, I don't want to hear crying 6 months from now, or I don't want to hear crying next summer about how we have this ordinance in there where people should be getting tickets and fines, but they're not writing enough tickets. It is hard to write tickets to 100 to 150 people when you have a limited number of police officers. So I just want people to understand when the numbers come out that all of a sudden, there might be a spike one day, but when the numbers come out, if they continue to do this, that, oh, well, why aren't they writing enough tickets? Well, because they only have a couple officers that can report. They're outnumbered. So, again, I am not against this whatsoever, and I think they should definitely implement this, but I want us to understand that I don't really see this being implemented and enforced. 833-212-1017. Do y'all agree with the approach of the city to help curb these street takeovers? And do you think these street takeovers were a problem? Again, 833-212-1017, because that is a very hefty fine. We were talking about paying between $300 and $1,000 for somebody just being a passenger in the car. Or you're talking about paying between $500 to $1,000 for simply watching, being a spectator. That seems very punitive and seems very heavy-handed. But again, 833-212-1017. Do you agree with the approach of the city to curb the street takeovers? I'll take your texts. I'll take your calls. Remember, you can always watch and stream us live on YouTube. That's 1017 The Truth on YouTube, 1017 The Truth on YouTube. But we'll continue the conversation about street takeovers on the other side.
Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Hi, I'm Brittany Miller from Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more. Custom T-shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, hats, you name it, we can do it. Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more is family-owned and all about celebrating life's big moments. Maybe it's a milestone birthday, a celebration for your child's first goal, or that work fundraising event. We are everyone's printer. No minimum orders, affordable designs, and help straight from me and our team. We're the one-stop shop for all your custom needs. Start your project today at bigfrog.com/Mequon.
This is your Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin Community Impact Moment on 1017 The Truth.
What was the life change? You know, we all know it happened, and we know things happen and you have bad kidneys, but what was the life change afterwards?
A couple things. Before they even allow you to get on the list, they make you go through a battery of tests. And, you know, a lot of people don't qualify because they're overweight, or they have high blood pressure or high cholesterol. So all those things are requirements before you can even get approved to be on the list. So I had...
Wait, you got to be approved to be on the list?
Absolutely.
Wow.
It's interesting. There's a professional athlete or or former professional athlete I know right now that has kidney disease, and he's on dialysis, and he wants to get on the list, and he's not accepting all the things you have to do, you know, to get on the list. But yeah, so for me, I spent 30 years in the automobile industry. You know, that's 12, 14-hour days, eating whatever somebody brings you to eat, whatever you run out and grab, McDonald's, whatever. It was never salads and, you know.
Yeah, but that was a choice, right?
It was a choice. Yeah. But I had to change all of that to even qualify to be on the list. I had to get down to the weight I had to be at. I had to get my phosphorus under control, my potassium under control.
Wait a minute. Even though somebody said they would give you a kidney,
absolutely,
you had to still make yourself eligible?
Absolutely.
Nah, that's okay.
When I mentioned the athlete, his relative actually died, and they wanted to take his organs, and they couldn't because he wasn't qualified. He wasn't on the list.
Wow.
Yeah, you have to be.
So there are over 100,000 people on that waiting list. So they are very serious.
And how many donors do we have?
And that's the problem. We don't have nearly enough donors. And that's why it's such a critical need. But they are serious about who they're giving that gift of life to, because there are so many people who are literally dying waiting for it.
To make an impact by donating blood in your community, visit versity.org today.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 101.7 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Nazir Spencer. With the Packers now 2-1, they look to face the Dallas Cowboys as Micah Parsons returns for Sunday Night Football. Jerry Jones on trading Micah Parsons, courtesy of 105.3 The Fan in Dallas.
I heard people talking about, well, why didn't you trade him back before the draft? Because draft picks becomes the most valuable timing-wise. You can have them in the offseason before the draft.
Packers versus Cowboys begins Sunday night at 7:20. The Brewers are on a 3-game losing streak after losing once again to the Padres.
Fields throws to first in time, and the Padres have won the first 2 games of this series. They shut out the Brewers tonight by a final score of 7-0.
Despite the streak, Brewers remain atop the MLB at 95 and 63. This sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
It is Truth to Power on 101.7 The Truth app, and streaming live on 101.7 The Truth on YouTube.
The Truth is a proud home of Marquette University High School football, and we have a great matchup for you Friday night as the Marquette Hilltoppers hit the road to take on conference rival, the Sussex Hamilton Chargers. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m., and Friday Night Football on The Truth is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. I'm Kyle Wallace, and I'm back. Happy to be back here, share my story about being in Lisbon. So many good stories about being in Lisboa. Very, very fun country. Another thing I realized, America's very fat. And if you're a little, plus size, that's okay. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. I was on a trip with some plus size folks, and they were just joking about how them doors, they said, who the hell fitting through them doors? Them doors is very narrow. You got to walk sideways through the doors. First thing I noticed when I got off the plane in America was a big old black dude. And I said, yep, back in America. Back in America. But 833-212-1017. We're talking about the street takeovers as the Common Council unanimously passed some very punitive ordinance that is going to cost people quite a bit of money if they get caught partaking in a street takeover, whether it is being a spectator of a street takeover where you have a fine of $500 to $1,000. So for those who are listening who have, a daughter, a son, a cousin, a nephew, anybody who's young between the age of probably 16 and 24, if they're just watching a street takeover, they could potentially get a ticket for $500 to $1,000. Those who are, participating in the street takeover by simply organizing it could see a fine between $300 to $1,000. And those who may be in a car with somebody who is doing the donuts could get a ticket between $300 to $1,000. And I'll be honest, I might have been in a house too much this summer, but I don't know about y'all. And you can help me out with this one, Rhea. I haven't really seen too many street takeovers take place this summer. And I mean, I've seen it in the news, but it hasn't really burdened my travel or where I go. Now, I do know the police claim there's been over 200 street takeovers, but maybe those weren't as large. Have you seen with your own eyes a street takeover, Rhea?
I have not, no.
Okay, just checking. And again, this is not saying that the street takeovers did not happen. All I'm saying is I know there was a couple large ones a couple days this summer, but I personally have not seen these street takeovers. But again, I am just one person, and I can't say people are making a big deal out of it because the Common Council passed it, and so obviously it is an issue and it's a problem, but I just personally haven't seen it. But 833-212-1017, did the Common Council make the right decision by just putting fines out here and fining young people, because it mostly is young people who participating in these street takeovers? White Widow, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What are your thoughts?
Welcome back, Kyle. I missed you.
I missed you too, White Widow. What's happening?
Hey, you're happening. But all I got to say, you can be in a stolen vehicle and not get a ticket. You can be one of them people in the back seat when you run a red light and kill somebody else and not get a ticket. This is ridiculous.
That's true.
Also, I just want to do the rundown. You think that this is drag racing and hot dogging and donuts is new? It's been around for a long time. The only thing is that now it happens to be in Milwaukee, in the city, and, the kids are uncontrollable. But then tell me why. Tell me why at Union Grove. Hey, bring a valid driver's license. And what does it accomplish? Safety. The track emphasizes safety by participating in a sanctioned event. You are racing in a proper drag strip environment, not in an unregulated street. It's called Dream Chaser Racing. It's been going on for 40 years. Beaver Dam, Rock Falls, Racine, Great Lakes. And I'm going to tell you another thing. Crawford County, the poorest community in the state, 16,000 people. Guess what they have? Tractor racing. And guess what? Oh, you shouldn't do that. But wait, agricultural workers die on the job more than even cops. This is ridiculous. The layers of implementation, and this is what our cops need to do. Hey, you were in the back seat. Let me look up. Okay, you get this. Oh, you were standing there. Yeah, they didn't pass this a couple of months ago because we all have a right to assemble.
Yes.
So yeah, all I see is. And this is a bunch of garbage. Give our kids in the inner city the same outlets.
Thank you, and I will speak to that. Give our kids in the inner city the same outlets. But I'm going to talk about giving our kids in our community the same level of urgency. So thank you so much, White Widow, for your 2 cents on this conversation, talking about the Common Council passing this ordinance that will ticket folks for participating in the street takeovers. And on YouTube, you can watch and stream us live on YouTube. JD the Poet, he said, he hit on it too. He said street takeovers are not a thing. He said people just be pulling up. Do y'all think people scared of tickets? And Again, I don't know if street takeover. I mean, I've seen people taking over streets, but just from my own personal experience, it's like, hey, like this is happening. This is, we doing this, and they only last for 15 to 30 minutes, and then they out of there, right? And again, I'm not condoning it, and I don't think they should be doing that, and I think the police are right to disperse them, and I'm not mad about them putting this out there, but I just don't think it's feasible to actually write a whole bunch of people tickets. But we shall see. 833-212-1017. If you have any thoughts or comments, you can definitely chime in on the talk and text line, just like the town. What's happening in the town? What are your thoughts on the street takeovers and the fines by the Common Council?
What's going down? They got brothers up in Portugal now, huh? Lives in Portugal, huh?
Yeah, shout out, A5A. Shout out to my friend, brother James Blacks, and this beautiful white summer on the beautiful wedding in Lisbon. It was beautiful.
They're gonna stop sleeping on Milwaukee. But hey, on that note, man. So what if you're on a bus stop and then you just watching it, and then the police come roll up? They're gonna pull you over the end. Like, or what if you're the press? What if you're the press and you're documenting this for your story or whatever like that? Does that then can they arrest you then? It's so many like lines that they crossing on some civil liberties type thing that it's not even really about the street takeover thing. It's just like y'all just trying to round everybody up, It don't look good. It don't look good. It don't sound good. And like the lady said before, and make something in Milwaukee. Just make something in Milwaukee so they can boom boom and do their Fast and Furious. They not killing nobody. They having fun. Everybody else gets to do it except for us.
The town, I'm with you on that. I 100% agree. 100%. Everybody else gets to do it except for us. And one thing I always find to be interesting, right, is I bring up drinking tickets because alcohol and drugs are something that are very heavy in the suburbs, and again, going to school in the burbs, I saw that when you get a drinking ticket, even in colleges, you get a drinking ticket, you simply got to do community service. You got to do something where they wipe it out. It's cool. People who have drug issues, right? And you even see it in the overall vibe when they talk about addressing the opioid crisis, right? They call it an epidemic when we had it in our crack epidemic we had in our community. Now it's a crisis. And even with the crisis, they talk about leading with help. And I remember there was a young lady who died in the community of Whitefish Bay years ago, and she died because she overdosed. And the gentleman that gave her the drugs that she was with, instead of taking her to the hospital to help her, they left her there. And then there was a law passed, which there should be laws passed, is that they should say, hey, if you are doing drugs and you overdose, don't just leave somebody there. Take them to the hospital first. We'll take care of the rest of the stuff later, but take them to the hospital first. But because somebody died, sadly, and I know this family, I know these people that this happened to. Sad, tragic. But through that death, they were actually able to get something done. But they lead with compassion when it comes to people that look like them, and that is okay. That is 100% okay, because you should in life lead with compassion. I just want our community and the politicians who are in charge of our community and the police who police our community and those who have power to lead with compassion when they're trying to help some of the issues we have in our community. But 833-212-1017, I got 60 seconds here for you, Brian.
Yeah, I think this is one of those feel-good legislations because they know for a fact there's not that many street takeovers, and the people that they will find, they will get the tickets paid. Because let's face it, these people with these cars and the people that had that kind of time, hey, they got money, so it's a money grab for the city, and it's an easy. It's something easy that they can manage because there just aren't that many street takeovers, and it's basically done on the south side. Those are the only people that can afford those high-end cars in the first place.
Well, I appreciate you, Brian. Yeah, again, I haven't seen any, but I've seen some on social media, so I know they're occurring. I'm not sure. Again, they claim there's been 200, but a street takeover could be 10 damn cars taking over the street. Who knows what needs to be, what documents or what officially makes it a street takeover. But 833-212-1017, again, that's the talking text line. As we're having a conversation talking about the street takeovers that are happening or were happening this summer in our community, and the Common Council coming down with a new ordinance that now fines individuals for being a spectator and watching it, somebody participating in it in the passenger seat, or somebody organizing it, from $500 to $1,000 worth of fines. Do you think the Common Council is doing the right thing to help curb this? 833-212-1017. Stephanie in Milwaukee, what are your thoughts? Got about 60 seconds here for you.
Okay, so I was just thinking like the previous callers, they do need to have some kind of space, for the young people here. It's a lot of empty places in Milwaukee, so I don't know where the money will come from, but they should have something where they can go, and do those type of things where they won't hurt anybody else. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And the ticket thing, I don't agree with that. I mean, like, it's against the law or whatever. I mean, they shouldn't do it, but they should just, I don't think they should give people, especially people that's watching, but they definitely need to get a space for our kids so they can do that.
I agree.
I don't know. That was pretty much it.
I appreciate you, Stephanie. Thank you so much. Again, I appreciate people just sharing their thoughts and sharing how they feel about this and what they think about this, because I think it's an important conversation to have. And again, I will applaud the Common Council for doing something, right? Doing something, because I think just not doing anything would not be the right way to approach it. But again, 833-212-1017. Marquina in Milwaukee, what are your thoughts about the street takeovers and what the Common Council is trying to implement?
Hi. Well, I'm not against the fines or making a step to do something. That's a step, I think, towards the positive to do that. But then also, yes, they should have some place to go. What I don't like is the streets being messed up in circles and all that stuff, and it just make that intersection look ugly. But other than that, I'm cool with the fine.
I'm with that. That's all good, Marquina. I appreciate you sharing your thoughts. I appreciate you thinking about the beauty of our streets because these taxes going on. I ain't got time to talk about it this week, but truth, we're gonna talk about these taxes. We're gonna talk about these taxes because let me tell you, the Chevy. I love Chevy as a person, great man. But boy, oh boy, all the city of Milwaukee does is shake us the hell down. It's a shakedown. Every year, here, give us more, give us more, give us more. We're going to talk about that next week. But Truth Nation, before we go to break, I got to let y'all know.
One call, that's all.
I came back ready. She said, make sure you do your reads. I said, I got you. But she ain't ready. But you know what? You know who's always ready? Gruber Law Offices. They're always ready to assist you and help you anyway, especially if you or a loved one is ever injured in an accident. But because they teamed up with us, you already know. When you hear that, now is your chance to be our one call, that's all, 5K giveaway entry for the day. Yes, you can be entered to win $5,000 courtesy of Gruber Law Offices and the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Let's make it easy today. Let's be caller number 8 today. Caller, I said it already. Caller number 8. I was going to do a different number for Cristiano Ronaldo, who is a Portuguese soccer player, but caller number 8. Caller number 8 right now at 833-212-1017 for your chance to be entered to win $5,000 courtesy of Gruber Law Offices and award-winning 1017 The Truth. Again, that is caller number 8 at 833-212-1017 for your chance to win $5,000, to be entered to win $5,000, courtesy of Gruber Law Offices. And always remember, if your loved one has ever been injured in an accident, contact Gruber Law Offices today by simply visiting gruber-law.com or calling 414-276-6666. But then also on top of that, Truth Nation, always know when you make that one call, that's all. You never pay a single penny until they win your case. But that is caller number 8 for the cash giveaway. We'll wrap up Truth to Power coming up on the other side. And I'll share my final thoughts on some of the frustrations I have with the urgency they have to fix this problem whenever it meets downtown, but the lack of urgency we get in our communities. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace. We'll be back.
You are listening to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app. Catch Truth to Power every weekday from noon to 1 p.m.
So let me ask you, when the government, and again, I'm doing the air quotes, tightens the belt, who's standing underneath the belt when it snaps back?
This is The Truth Unfiltered with Denise Thomas and Dr. Ken Harris.
Don't want you to agree. Honestly, should I be transparent? I don't really care if you agree. I, like you, want to be heard.
Sundays starting at 7 on 620 WTMJ and Mondays at 6 on 1017 The Truth.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are much closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Fall in Milwaukee, where the air is crisp, the drinks are cold, and the good times are just heating up. Stroll Milwaukee's lakefront and explore its parks as they burst into a kaleidoscope of golds, ambers, and reds. Raise a glass at a beer garden that feels like a neighborhood block party, Milwaukee style. And just as the temps fall, Brewers baseball is turning up the heat. October dreams are made right here. This season, every color, every cheer, every sip, it all comes together in Milwaukee. Craft your perfect getaway at visitmilwaukee.org.
It's 1017 The Truth. Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. When a customer chooses Pella, one of the most important things to them is honoring that trust and commitment. A lot of customers might have apprehensions about inviting someone out to their home. But when you see the experience and professionalism, you can trust them with bringing your project to life. Their vision is to be the company that people want to do business with. Watching them work from idea to installation gives you the ability to see firsthand the care taken to ensure the Pella experience is complete. When you want long-lasting comfort and reliability, it's easy to trust Pella. Every piece is specifically constructed for you and your home, always designed with innovation and rigorously tested for quality and performance. The Pella team takes pride in constructing quality windows and doors with meticulous attention to every detail. Order by the end of the month and get 0% interest for up to 5 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 9/30/2025.
You are listening to Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. I'm Kyle Wallace, and I am so excited and happy to be back here with you, Truth Nation. You can always watch and stream us live. Make sure y'all go to 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. Make sure y'all give us a like. Make sure y'all give us a subscribe and share it. Make sure you go back. If you miss any of the show, make sure you go back and you go ahead and you give us a listen on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth app. Make sure y'all go to the award-winning 101.7 The Truth app so you can listen or go back and listen to Truth to Power anywhere that you're at. I was in Lisbon. I was able to listen to the shows in Lisboa. But on the other side, Truth Nation, I was talking about these street takeovers here in Milwaukee. And again, I don't condone them. I don't think they're productive, but also don't want to paint a narrative that that these kids are bad kids, because they're not. And also, I really haven't seen them personally. Again, I wasn't out here in the streets because I'm out for the streets no more. So I have not seen them, but I've seen videos of them, so I know they take place. But I don't know if the issue is that big. But the biggest thing that I have is, what I really just wish, Truth Nation, I wish Milwaukee politicians acted this swiftly when something terrible happens on the north side of Milwaukee. That is my wish. See, I wish they had this same sense of urgency to bring industry, to bring jobs, to bring some type of training to the north side of Milwaukee. So I wish this urgency that we had on the north side the urgency that they had to fix the problem down in downtown Milwaukee, because don't get it twisted. This was happening in May, and Common Council President Jose Perez, he was upset about it and said this is ridiculous. And it took from May all the way until September 23rd for it to get done. Now, let me just tell y'all, between May and September, the only thing that happened was a Labor Day weekend, which is a busy weekend in the city of Milwaukee for us to highlight how great we are as a city. And downtown is beautiful, but the street takeover took place in downtown Milwaukee. And all of a sudden, the issue Jose Perez had back in May all of a sudden had a sense of urgency to it, because the city wanted to make sure they can stop our beautiful downtown from being impacted. And so when I think about this, I wish when it came to the things that we actually need in the city of Milwaukee, they would show this same level of urgency. And there's programs out there, I get it. But I wish they had the urgency to say, you know what, our schools can't fail our kids anymore. I wish they had the urgency to say, I'm tired of seeing these boarded up buildings with no industry and no jobs for people to go to in the north side of Milwaukee. I'm going to do everything I can, and I'm going to have an urgency to make sure we attract some of these companies to Milwaukee so we can employ more people. I wish there was an urgency to partner with as many businesses as possible to make sure that kids, when they graduate from high school and they don't go to college, they have a job that they can go get training at, and they can build themselves a career. But see, there is no sense of urgency for that, because sometimes I feel like the folks don't care about us as much. They care more about the money that the downtown can bring versus the potential that the north side of Milwaukee youth and the north side community can bring to not only this city, but this state. Truth Nation, so thank y'all so much for tuning in today to Truth to Power. The Tory Lowe Show is up next. Peace out. I will see y'all tomorrow, Truth Nation. Thank you.